value chain. You know, when you produce food from the farm, you have to do something about it in order to increase the profitability, in order to increase sales. Like when you have this maize alone, you know, when you sell maize in the market, it fetches, let's say, a kilogram fetches about, is it 40 shillings? I don't know. Maybe korokoro moja ni 45 shillings or 40 shillings, okay? But when you do value added chain, you grind it. Now the value goes up to 50 or 60. Then when you make mahamri from very fine maize, you do mahamri, that's actually value addition. So from 1 kilogram, you make about maybe 40 mahamri, and you are selling each one of them at 20 shillings or 50 shillings. So if you have 40 times 10, you get 400 from 1 kilogram. But if you sell it normally, just like this, the way it is, then the value that you are going to get is about 20 shillings or 25 shillings. What about an egg, for example? It's one of the produce from the farm. The price of an egg has never increased for many years. It's either 15 shillings or 10 shillings, and it has not improved. But you can do value added, you can do value addition to the egg by doing what? What do you do? Egg milk? Do you have egg milk? No. You prepare biscuits, you prepare cakes, birthday cakes, and so forth. So you increase the addition, the value addition. And that's actually what is actually required. So that's actually what we are going to talk about here. Even before I look into it, that is actually what we need to think. When you go out there, you get mangoes. What value addition can you do for mangoes? What value addition? Maybe it's just a discussion. We are not going to take too much time. What value addition? You can make juice, okay? You can make juice, and you sell juice at a very high price compared to the mango itself. And also, what about the waste peels? What do you do with the peels? Because nothing should go to waste. What do you do with the peels from mangoes? What do you do? If you are producing a large amount of mangoes and you get a lot of peels, what do you do? Good question. Yes, very good.
Also, keep it as animal feeds.
Keep it do it, maybe convert it into animal feeds. You ferment, maybe, and give it to animals, and you get more milk. Okay, for example, you give it to a cow, you get more milk. Now, let's, because we are not, when I present, I will just do it in 10 minutes. Okay, so no, the rest is not important. But what is actually important is the application, the skills. So I want you to get your piece of paper there. And we are going to look at tomato. Okay, and what value addition can we have for tomato? Tomato. Some people will say tomato. What is tomato? But it's supposed to be tomato. Is it tomato? I think so. Tomato. Okay. So can you write 5 value additions that you can actually do for tomato? Because it is critical. The topic is sustainable and inclusive food value chain. And we are choosing tomato. And you are not supposed to Google at this time. Yeah, tomato. And after you are done, we are going to have groups here. We have this group. You need to sit together and discuss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Group quiet, you are very far. You know, you need to come here.
Okay, we are talking about tomato. In fact, I'll not use 3 minutes. Maybe I'll just use like 2 2 minutes and something. So tomato is a very precious commodity, and value adding on it can increase income, and in terms of sustainable and smart agriculture is a very good resource. The first in our group, what we saw, you can, instead of consuming the tomato the way it is, you can make a tomato paste, you see. So from it you make a tomato paste. It fetches high prices compared to the raw tomatoes. The second one, from this, you can use tomato to make dye. Tomato has a component called lycopene. So the coloring matter, it can be very nice dye for our clothes. So with that, with amalgamated with many dyes, you can make very nice dyes from it. And selling that dye or patenting it, if it has never been done, it will fetch you more money. The third one, tomato is relatively available and somehow cheap. It can be used now as a feed for the black soldier fly. I hope you know what black soldier fly is. Black soldier fly is normally the feed that is used to feed, is a protein fly that is used, we use either feeding in fish or chicken. So this black soldier fly is very expensive. If you incorporate, use tomato as a feed for this, this black soldier fly, selling black soldier fly will fetch you more money. You'll have like added value to it. The other one is making of tomato powder. So in line of producing the paste and the powder fetches a lot of money because a gram of a tomato powder is very expensive compared to tomato. Okay.
We have tomato sauce, we have ketchup. You can also use it to make juice. You have tomato juice. And then tomato seeds can be used to make oil. So we can have oil made from the tomato seeds. And then animal feeds, yes. Tomatoes can be used as animal feeds. And then another one, it can be used as compost manure. Yes, as an organic manure. When it's rotten, it gives nutrients to the soil. Thank you.
Some of them are tomato sauce for the ketchup, bread spread, the jam, as a kachumbari, cooking ingredient, spice or seasoning when they are dried. And then we have tomato paste, and then tomato juice, and canning. When you can them, you can use them for longer. Yes.
Very good. You talked about making dyes out of tomato, which is good. It's going to fetch more money. And if you are doing oil, you say you are producing oil? You're producing oil? Yes. That is actually good. You're producing fuel. What that oil can be used for what? Is it for cooking or transport fuels? Cooking. Or frying chicken, something. Okay, so it fetches more money. And the other group talked about something which is unique. What was that? Kachumbari is normal. It's not even value addition to some extent, but there is something that they say it beyond kachumbari. I think maybe let's call it juice. Did you talk about juice? Yeah, juice is good. You can actually make juice from tomato. And you increase value addition. That leads us now to the business model. Okay? When you go out.
There is one more.
Yeah.
You can use it to make liquor.
Actually, you can use to make beer. Okay? Beer from tomato. Tomato beer. Beer, yeah, is right. It's a question of fermentation, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you just do the other processes and all that. So that leads now to what you call, can you think in terms of a business model? Okay, that is the assignment that we are going to do on Friday. Everybody is required to design a business model. Okay, from out of what we have learned today, can you be able to design a business model? Can you go out there? And now, because this is actually very interesting, can you harvest, tell people to bring tomato and make beer, and you sell it as waraki or whatever it is in the village, okay? It is possible, is it? Yeah. So can we have those things being even tested in the laboratory here? Make beer, but you don't make beer when you have dimethyl sulfoxide and benzene and all those very tough. Yeah. So you need a small lab outside the main laboratory of chemicals. Okay. Because those chemicals are volatile and they get into the alcohol that you have that you are producing. You can produce it in your house. The only problem in your house is not very hygienic. It's not very clean. You know these guys that produce yogurt. You know when you get milk. Use milk directly. It is not going to fetch more money. But if you make yogurt, then it produces more money. Or you make mursik. The only problem is that there are a lot of guys who have actually ventured into making mursik in very dirty places. They remove their shirts. Then they start now. They start now doing ABCD. They produce mursik. they sweat a lot. Sweat goes into the mursik, and they, yeah. Yeah, vitongoji duni kama ile ya Kibera, ya kama Langas, kama ile ya Kisumu inaitwa nini hiyo? Ya Kisumu Kondele. So some places, okay? In the process of value addition, and then they package them. They call it molo milk. Yet it comes from Kondele and so forth. Someone amekula samaki kabisa. Samaki inaingia ndani na alafu mnasema ameimprove, which is okay. But anyway, the most important thing is the skill. Have you learned a skill on value addition? So I'm going to run through this because we already know what it is. You just run. Now here, the main aim is to explore climatic smart agriculture. Of course, we know that inclusive food value chains that promote economic viability. Of course, from what we have done, we understand that we have to improve the economic viability by converting something that was cheap into something that is expensive. You can make even liquor from fruits, such as pineapples, is it? Yes, or even mangoes. You can actually do that. But what is the purpose of liquor anyway? Does it benefit anybody? Does it benefit the body? Okay. Yeah, it does. It does somehow. They can kill diseases, clear your throat. But you're not saying that one is at the end of the day now, you go to the gate and start tasting and say, I want to clear the throat. Washing, okay, irrigating or something. So next, we are going to move faster. We're not delaying. We'll go next. These are objectives. Of course, we know that they have been achieved. So what is food value chain? Includes production, aggregation, processing, marketing, and consumption. That's actually what we have actually been discussing. And that's actually what we have applied when you're doing that small assignment. Effective coordination among actors. In this case, in order to succeed, you must have a linkage maybe to a circle. You form cooperatives, okay? You form cooperatives so that no man can succeed alone. You must have friends. You form a cooperative. You have a group where you can actually now market your produce, because you also have to have a market. First of all, you form groups where others can supply tomato. Okay, we are using this tomato. Supply tomato. Then the others can do the processing. Then now the value addition, maybe to Liga, and then you get the market. You need to get the market. Because without the market again, what will happen? Okay? So those are some of the things that we need to understand. And then each stage adds value to agricultural products. Of course, that's actually what we have been discussing. And I think we need to go to the next slide. Now, traditional sustainable models. Of course, if you compare the traditional or the conventional models with the modern methods, the additional value chain, and then sustainable and industrial change, because we need to move from small consumption to industry. Here focuses on profit an output, okay, you promise an output, but the profit may not be so much. But when you go to focuses on sustainable, and sustainable and inclusive chain, that is we have focuses on sustainability and resilience, okay. Something that can actually continue, like Kenya breweries or Coca-Cola company. It is sustainable and it's going to continue forever. But the small industries can easily fizzle out just maybe because of the stringent policies. If there are stringent policies, you end up closing your small cottage industry. Okay. But Coca-Cola, when will you close Coca-Cola? It's not very easy to close Coca-Cola. Okay. But you can close your liquor from potato or tomato. Okay. Now, resource intensive. Sometimes traditional is resource intensive, but this one has been improved because of AI technologies and all that improves. Benefits limited and large actors, of course. Benefits shared among participants, of course. Neglects environment, okay. When we are doing it, sometimes you don't care. You get the waste and you throw them away. It causes maybe down the train, down the rivers, and it leads to poisoning and so forth. Protects natural ecosystems. The modern methods actually, because everything is recycled and used. Nothing goes to waste. That is the philosophy, that nothing goes to waste. Exactly what Gemma was talking about, circularity. When you talk about circularity, it means nothing should go to waste. Whatever you, like even the maize cobs, after removing this, the maize cobs can now be converted to something useful. How can you convert maize cob to something useful? Yes, and you grind it and get it to feeds. Or you can use it as a fuel. Yes, for cooking. So nothing goes to waste. Next. And you may jump some of them. So the key principle of sustainable food systems is economic sustainability, of course, social equity, promoting industry and participation. And something that needs to be done here is when you see the term equity, you always think about vulnerable groups. You think about women. You think about the youth. Okay, that is when you talk about social equity. Everybody must be involved. Men are actually vulnerable on their own, the boy child. And I think maybe people are making noise nowadays that we are focusing too much on the girl child and leaving out the boy child. Now, the other one is environmental protection, maintaining ecosystems. Exactly what we have actually said, that whatever you produce, after getting whatever, let's say the main thing, which is actually the maize, whatever remains there should actually be now converted into useful product. So everything that we produce must be either recycled so that it is actually useful throughout the whole chain. People form cooperatives when they are harvesting tea. You know, the reason why people form cooperatives when they are get maybe milk production. KE-CSA, is it KE-CSA? Is it still around or is it gone? Brookside. There is also Molo what? Molo milk. Then there is also Sikori milk or something. No. So the reason why people form cooperatives is actually for success, for sustainability, okay, and increasing income. It improves infrastructure. When you are in a team and you want to carry your milk maybe to the town and the roads are very bad, you come together and repair the roads, and then you can be able to get better transport, but not as an individual. Go to the next. Now this is very important. Yeah. This is actually solar. Okay? The roof is made of solar. Now solar, what is the work of our solar here? To produce energy, to produce renewable energy. So you use it as a roof to protect the plants or to protect yourself, but it's also able to produce energy. It also produces the shade that is required. also be used in drying. It is Yes, yes. Yeah, it's kind of pumping water, solarization. Yeah, solarization of bowls. You know, the farmers now are using as a roof for their produce, for their tomatoes. You can see that. And in addition to that, also you can have plants. If you do it very well, you can have plants in between the solar panels, or some of the plants inside the solar panels to protect them from heat. Yeah, another. Social inclusivity. So what do you understand by the term inclusivity? Inclusivity, you have to have old men, women, the youth, the vulnerable groups and all that. That is what the definition of inclusivity. And going forward in your studies, when you are writing a proposal for funding, there are two things which are very critical. One is inclusivity. Second is gender. And gender here does not mean that man. No, normally it means women. So when you have those two, you are likely to get more money funded for your milk plant or your tomato liquor plant. Okay? As long as you have to employ more women. More women must be employed. Whether they are going to be fetching the water, they have to be there. Yeah. So gender, equity, and what we refer to as what do you call that? Inclusivity. Let's go next. The others have simply been explained. Environmental sustainability. Of course, you have to conserve environment. Whatever you do, it has to be environmental friendly. You must conserve the environment. And that's why we define the term circularity, so that nothing goes to waste. Then reduces deforestation. Of course, we know that. So that's okay. What is climate smart agriculture? It is something that we have been defining all along. I don't know whether we are going to get tired out of it, but we are saying it includes productivity, which increases yields, adaptation, and mitigation. Adaptation strengthens resilience, and mitigation reduces greenhouse gases and greenhouse emissions. Next. Now, we have improved the crop and livestock productivity. We are not only talking about crops, we also talk about animals. You talked about yesterday about, there was somebody who talked about flies in tomato. Were you the one?
Yes.
Yes, and those flies are very expensive, is it?
Yes, very, very expensive.
Very expensive. So from one tomato, you produce about maybe 10 flies. One fly costs how much?
No, per kg.
Per kg costs how much? Around 1,000. Okay. From some small, a few tomatoes, you get 1,000. And you know tomato in right is how much? Either 2 shillings or 5 shillings or something like that. Then you get 1,000 by, apart from other value chain additions. So efficient, we have talked about all these which are very important in sustainable agriculture. Now, enhances farmers' ability to manage climate variability, of course, practices mulching and so forth. We talked about that. Build resilience against the droughts, floods and all that. Examples in Kenya, smallholders adopting drought-tolerant maize varieties. We talked about tolerant maize varieties, tolerant potato varieties, tolerant cassava varieties, even tolerant coffee varieties. There are those coffee which can be, which part of central province is actually, is it Kieni, which is the driest? Kieni, yes. But people in Kieni plant coffee because there are those varieties which can withstand arid regions and all that. Next. Mitigation reduces emissions. Of course, we have talked about that, such as CO2. Agroforestry absorbs CO2. So the more the plants that we plant, it will be able to absorb CO2, excess CO2. But of course, that research is still underway because it was conducted in Australia that they believe more trees can actually absorb CO2. So they planted a lot of trees in in Australia, and then they, in a state of just allowing the carbon dioxide to roam on its own, they started pumping CO2 on the plants. They pumping, and then they realized that the plant is not absorbing. So they say that what is all this about, that the CO2 is being absorbed by the plant? There's something wrong. But you know, you have to leave natural processes to do their work. Don't interfere with them. Next. Yeah, we have the farmers, we have consumers, and we have policymakers. Okay, policymakers give us the policies. They can tell us, yes, these soils are very important for this kind of plant because of the pH levels and all that. So the advice, they give us the advice. So the farmer consumes the advice, and then the consumers in this case ensures more stable, secure food supply and all that. So we have a small, we have retailers, and then we have large scale consumers and all that kind of stuff. So we move on. Next. Benefits of CFD-based value chains: improved productivity and profitability. Resilience against the shocks, shocks due to climate change, drought, because 1 year is not the same as the other year. I mean, this year cannot be the same as next year. Things can change next year. Even when you are planting your maize, if you have been getting 100 bags per year, if you get 100 bags per year this year, it doesn't mean that you will get the same bags next year or the following year, and so on. So there is always variation. There are always shocks due to climate change. So unless we do something about climate change, it's going to affect us very badly. Okay, it will continue raining maybe the whole year at one point, and one point there is no rain. That's why you hear things like El Nino and La Nina. Okay, empowerment of women. You know, everything that we do actually is to empower the woman and the youth. But of course, politics, you remember even in this country, when we are saying 1/3 gender rule, even when you are appointing staff in the university or appointing staff in government or even politicians in government, there must be a 1/3 gender rule. But sometimes it's not very easy to get, is it? When if you want to employ, you cannot employ a cook to come and teach industrial chemistry. Is it possible? Not possible, is it? So if they are not there, they are not there. Even if the rule is there, it doesn't actually work. So, but still, all this climate smart agriculture or climate cities or climate anything smart must ensure that there must be gender rule and inclusivity. Next. Now here we have fairer empowers farmers by increasing their yields and income, which is okay. Strengthens food security, connects local actions. These are things that we have discussed in directly, whether directly or indirectly, we have discussed them. So more sustainability protects the environment. We have to protect the environment in whatever we do in agriculture. We don't want to use overuse of fertilizers, overuse of pesticides, overuse of herbicides and all that. That does not protect the environment. In any case, it's going to harm environment. That's why we talk about smart agriculture. Now, we also say conserves natural resources. Okay, we conserve natural resources. If we plant trees, as we plant trees, we plant crops and all that. We can conserve. Those of us who have been in agriculture, they know very well. Those tea industries, they plant a lot of eucalyptus around the tea bushes, and that is actually conservation of the environment. And it will continue raining until some other time when the forests are cleared. And so as long-term viability, of course, if we sustain smart agriculture, then it's going to be viable something must be viable. Okay, if we do correct farming, then viability comes into place automatically. But let's just go to the next. This is just a summary of what we need to understand. First of all, we have the market and market policy failures, market policy failures, then it leads to unsustainable agriculture, challenges in developing sustainable value chains, and then lack of awareness and training, okay? Lack of awareness in the villages. Somebody yesterday said that we need to carry this technology, not technology, but the training to the villages, because if they are not aware, and they will continue doing what they have been doing, despite the fact that there will be climate change and many variations in weather forecasting and all that. So next. Now, we have circular economy in food systems. Circular economy is actually what we refer to as circularity. Okay. We are saying that nothing should go to waste. Everything that even this, when you are buying a pineapple, the pineapple peels should not be wasted. But how many times are we wasting? Do we really need them? We peel and then we throw them away, is it? Which is actually wrong, because we don't have the know-how to be able to recycle those to make even juice. We can make juice, very nice juice. There's a student in Kabianga who is already inventing how to make sure that the pineapple peels can now be converted into juice. And he's selling them in Kipanda. Okay? And people are drinking and say, this is the best juice I've ever done, I've ever drank. Okay? Here in Kabianga, how many of us in Echaton will be able to be innovative enough and do something out of the box? How many of us? Okay. So you need to think. Yeah, even one of the students in Echaton University here came up with a sustainable plan of converting hyacinth into what? Was it sanitary towels or? The only thing is that you don't know whether it works. Because you are a man. whether it's able to do the right job or not, who knows? But of course, we used to say that it does. Okay? Yeah. So convert waste into energy and fertilizers. That is something that we have said, like maize stalks, maize crops. Create jobs through recycling. Yeah, we can create jobs through recycling. We can ask people to collect waste, and then it is taken to an industry that can buy waste. And then that industry can employ other people. Okay. So that's actually one of the job creation in circularity, in what we call circular economy. Now, the key actors in food value chain, I think that's something that we need to appreciate. Can you go to almost to the last one, because we don't want to waste the time. I think we have actually done a lot. I'll go down. I think this note. Inclusivity. We talk about inclusivity, enhancing inclusivity. Exactly, we have talked about it, that the vulnerable groups must be included. All the people, or the youth and the women. Inclusivity, that's exactly what it means. But there is also gender. Now, youth and entrepreneurship, that is, the youth are very important. Okay, that's why they have been given this empowerment projects where helicopters are flying around Nakuru sometimes. They go to Western, they go to where? Okay, because of empowerment. The youth are supposed to be empowered. The youth and the women. Who has ever talked? Have they talked about men? No. Is it the youth and women?
Women.
And women.
Women.
Nothing like you don't have what they have. You're saying we women and men. No, they don't talk about men. No. They talk about the youth and women and the vulnerable. Okay, and the vulnerable. You will never be mentioned. Yeah. But the guy who is doing the empowerment is the man. Empowerment. That is where it contradicts social protection. Yeah, social protection is very critical. Those people who are 70 years and above, they are now getting what? Inaitwa inua jamii ama? Wanainua hawa. Yeah, they are getting salary also at 70 and above. It is sustainable.
2,000 shillings is not.
No, we are not talking about the shillings. We are talking about the process has been sustainable. Yes, if you talk about 2,000, no, it's not sustainable, but it is still better than zero, is it? Yeah. You know when you give a grandmother 5,000 in the village every month, they will not appreciate. But if they are earning, they are 2,000 from the government, they have a pay slip. They appreciate. Yeah. So they like that one more than the 5,000 you give them. Yes. Because yours is variable. If you are sucked, for example, it will be varied. But these other ones is coming from the government, so it's sustainable. Even if small, sustainable. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where I stop now, and then I welcome the second speaker. Makopi.